Hello. Yeah. Welcome back. Now I'm trying to do an experiment wherein I am trying to record a lesson on the go. So welcome back, and we'll be, as you can see from my screen, trying to discuss digital electronics, some fundamentals of digital electronics to start with. The very fact that we are talking of digital electronics tells you that there must be some other kind of electronics as well. So the other kind of electronics is what we know as analog electronics. Before we go into the distinctions of these terms, what we should do is to look at what is electronics, what electronics itself is. Okay, so electronics essentially deals with the study of production, control, and applications of the conduction of electrons through gases or vacuum, or through semiconducting or conducting materials and devices based on them. This is the ASTM definition of electronics, American Standards for Testing Materials. So essentially what electronics is, it is a branch of study that deals with the production, control of an electron beam through gaseous, semiconducting, or vacuum devices, essentially. So there are two categories, as I told you, analog and digital. Analog, as you know, when you say something is analogous, the English meaning of analogous is something varying in the same way as the other. For example, you can take our conventional thermometer. In the conventional thermometer, the length of the mercury column in the glass tube varies proportional to the temperature. So the length of the column varies in the same way, or varies, the variation in the length of the mercury column is analogous to the variation in temperature. Therefore, the change in the mercury column can be taken as a measure of the change in temperature. On the other hand, digital devices directly talk to us about discrete numbers for a given quantity. If you want to look at some of the other differences between analog and digital electronics, the analog electronics accepts continuous changes in value. To tell you or take you back to some history, in the 70s, we used to have watches. If you would observe the seconds needle, the seconds needle appeared to continuously move from 0 and back to 0. On the other hand, in today's watches, which are essentially based on quartz-based movements, digital watches, are simply quartz watches. The seconds needle, if you observe, it definitely moves in steps. 1 second, then there's no movement. As the next second approaches, it will give you another tick like that. So it moves in discrete steps. Between 1 and 2, there is nothing. That's what I mean. On the other hand, in conventional, you can have any type of value, any number of values between a 1 and a 2 or a 0 and a 1. Such a thing is not possible in digital electronics. The third major difference is that analog circuits use discrete devices, separate transistors, capacitors, resistors, etc. On the other hand, the digital devices make use of ICs. So this makes analog circuits bulky, big size, that is, costly, and also because individual components can fail, the reliability of performance is also low. And overall, therefore, they tend to be costly as well as they tend to be noisy. On the other hand, the digital circuits are digital devices. They are small in size, cheap when manufactured in bulk, and also very reliable in performance because they make use of integrated circuits. They are small in size and they consume less power as compared to analog devices. Because the digital circuits operate on binary logic, they happen to be less noisy as well. We'll discuss these things as we go along. So, to then continue, we come to logic circuits or basically logic. Now, what is logic? Logic is that part of human reasoning that tells us whether a given statement is true or false in a given set of conditions. Several such propositions, when combined, form what is known as propositional logic or logic functions. For example, in our daily life, we come across a large number of situations. Like we make a decision, we wonder whether it is right or wrong. We choose something, we say whether we wonder whether our choice is right or wrong. Many such situations we come across, probably decision making situations where we wonder whether what we are doing is right or wrong, acceptable or not acceptable, good or bad, and things like that. In all these situations, you find that there are only two possibilities and they are complementary in nature. If one is yes, the other is no. If one is black, the other is white, like that. So, George Boole in 1850s, a telecom engineer, developed a method of formulating logical statements in the form of symbols so that logical problems can be formulated and solved in a manner similar to algebra. He found that in all these logical processes, the reasoning we apply is similar to the reasoning we apply in algebra, except that the possibilities here are only two and they're complementary in nature. So he developed several set of rules on the basis of which these logical functions or logical statements can be analyzed, and the whole branch of study came to be known as Boolean algebra. A number of such logical statements and functions, as I told you earlier, tend to be two-stated, like true or false, and black or white, open or close, like that. And because in electronics we have devices that work in two complementary states of saturation and cutoff, some of these logical, a large number of these logical situations can be represented, duplicated, or mimicked using electronic circuits, and these circuits are known as logical circuits. Essentially, a logic circuit or a logical circuit is a circuit which has more than one input and has only one output. The output, if it depends upon the combination of inputs, then the logic is known as combinational logic, which is largely what we are going to study in this semester. There are also situations wherein the output depends upon the sequencing of inputs. In such a case, you know the circuits as sequential logic circuits. These sequential logic circuits actually go on to form memory devices in electronics that we are not going to study in this semester. So, we essentially restrict ourselves to logic circuits which are combinational in nature. Now, how do we go about? Let us start with a statement like, I play cricket. There are two possibilities. Whether you are a good player or not, whether you play for a long time or not, if you are playing, then the answer to that question is yes. If you are not playing, then the answer to that question is no. In logic circuits, if it is a yes, we take it as a 1 or a high. If it is a no, we take it as a low or 0. In terms of voltages, particularly in IC 7400 family, which we are going to discuss later, the output is high if the voltage is anything more than 2.5 volts. The voltage is, the logic level is low if the output turns out to be anything less than 1 volt. I have some details here, technical, coming up early in the discussion. You just don't bother about it. Suppose you take a statement like I play cricket, as I told you, and another statement like I drink tea. You can combine these two statements have only two possibilities. Either you play cricket or you don't. You either drink tea or you don't. If you combine these statements now by means of operators like or and, then you end up with these possibilities. Suppose I take the statement I play cricket as statement A and simply represent it by symbol A, and I take the statement I drink tea as statement B and simply represent it as B. If the statement is true, I will represent it by a 1. The statement is false, I will represent it by a 0. Then, if I am adding or combining these statements by means of an operator, let us say OR, then what we find is that if I don't play cricket, it becomes a 0. If I don't drink tea, it becomes another 0. If you either don't play cricket, neither do play cricket nor drink tea, then both the statements are false. Therefore, the combined statement is false. If the combined statement is taken as A plus B, where plus is being read as or, so A or B equal to Y is false if both the statements are false. Similarly, if I don't play cricket but I drink tea, then statement A becomes 0, B becomes 1, and the combined statement says I play cricket or I drink tea. Since one of the statements is true, the value of the combined statement becomes true, therefore it becomes a 1. Similarly, if I play cricket but I don't drink tea, A is 1, B is 0, and the combined statement being joined by a conjunction or the operator or becomes therefore high or true, therefore we represent it by 1. And if I play cricket and drink tea as well, then both the initial statements AB are high, therefore the combined statement is also high. Therefore, you end up with a combination of inputs and outputs, like I have shown in this table, A plus B equal to Y. This table lists out all the combinations of inputs that are possible and the corresponding output. Therefore, you can treat this table or call this table as a table of combinations. Since this talks about the truth values of the combined statement and the individual statements as well, you can also call it as a truth table. Very often, we call it as a truth table. So as you can see, this is the truth table for the OR operation. That is combining two logical statements A and B by means of the operator OR. I have some circuits alongside. You don't worry about them. Next, we take up a combination wherein we are dealing with two operators A and B, but we combine them by means of a conjunction OR, operator OR. Now, what will this kind of a statement be equal to? The statement will be equal to this. I'll take the same two statements. I play cricket and I drink tea now. So what happens? If I don't play cricket, A is 0. If I don't drink tea, B is 0. The combined statement is I play cricket and I drink tea. Therefore, the combined statement is false. So, A and B represented as A dot B dot being read as and. So, the combined statement A and B is wrong. Therefore, it is giving you a truth value 0. Now, if I don't play cricket, but I drink tea, which is more often the case, we have the combined statement A going 0, B becoming high. Therefore, combined statement A and B is 0. Because I have to do both the actions if the combined statement has to become true. Therefore, as the fourth combination, if we take, if I play cricket, that's a 1. If I drink tea, that's another 1. Therefore, the combined statement, I play cricket and I drink tea, is also high, is true. Therefore, A dot B equals Y is also 1. So, this set of combinations, what I have shown here, is called the truth table for the AND gate. Now comes the question, what is it that we are interested in doing here? We are taking logical statements which have only two possibilities as truth values. What happens is we are able to analyze them when we combine them by means of logical operations, and the purpose of doing this is to be able to represent these operations by means of electronic circuits. Process such statements by means of electronic circuits. Processing these statements by means of electronic circuits becomes possible because of the fact that in electronics you have devices that operate in the two complementary states of saturation and cutoff. Now, if you see what I have done here, in electronics, you know that diode is a two-state device. If you properly bias the diode, that is, give a higher voltage, positive of the battery to the P side, negative of the battery to the N side, the diode becomes forward biased and conducts. If you reverse the polarities, it does not conduct. So the diode is a two-state device operating in the modes of cutoff and saturation, or non-conduction and conduction. So therefore, a diode can be used to represent or mimic, copy the operation of an OR gate, for example. That is what I have shown here. If you can see, I have taken the same battery because in electronics you don't waste power sources. I have given them to two keys, through two keys K1 and K2, to two diodes here. These diodes can be taken as A and B to represent the two logical statements A and B. And this battery is usually 5 volts. And to control the current that flows through, so that the diodes do not burn up, I have a resistor. And I also can measure the output across the resistor. If you put a voltmeter across the resistor here, you can measure the output voltage. Now, let me show you how this device mimics the OR gate. Suppose I open both the switches. If I open both the switches, then there is no current in the circuit at all. Therefore, what happens? There is no voltage developed across the resistor. So if you put a voltmeter across the resistor, you get 0 voltage. There is no voltage across diode 1 because key is open. Voltage is across the key and not across the diode. So if you open both the keys K1 and K2, both the inputs A and B become 0. Therefore, the output across measured across R is not seen at all. Therefore, 0, B0 gives you A or B also equal to 0. Now, you close one of the keys here, let us say K1. Then a current flows through the diode. If you measure between the ground and the negative of the diode, you will measure the battery voltage, which means input A is high. More than 2.5 volts, as I told you, is a high input. So A is 1, B is 0. So what happens now? B is 0, B is open. As the key K1 is closed, that is connected with the battery A, sorry, the diode A. Now a current flows from the battery to this junction where both the keys are connected. One of the keys is closed, so it allows the current to flow through. So this current now tries to flow through diode A. As you can see, higher potential is now given to P side. The negative of the diode is grounded through the resistor. Therefore, the diode A is forward biased. As diode A is forward biased, a current flows through the diode A, comes to this point, then flows through the resistor to the ground. So, from the battery positive through key K1 and diode A, flows through the resistor to the ground. So, if you measure the voltage across resistor, now you will measure a high voltage. So, A is 1, B is 0, therefore A or B is 1. That is satisfied. Now, if you remove key associated with diode A, close the key associated with diode B, K2, now similar thing happens. Now the diode A does not conduct, but the diode B conducts. Similarly, again, from the battery positive through key K2 and diode B, current flows through the resistor in the same direction as before, and therefore you measure a high output. So, A0, B1, output high. If you close both the keys, there is no problem. Both the diodes are conducting. The current through both the diodes, therefore, is slightly larger now. And all the current flows through the resistor through the ground. Therefore, what happens? Across the resistor, if you measure by means of a voltmeter, you will still measure voltage greater than 2.5 volts, which is high for a logical circuit. So, whatever OR gate I had discussed earlier, now I am able to represent the same by means of an electronic circuit consisting of diodes and resistors. Because I am performing a logical operation by means of diodes and resistors, this is also known as diode resistor logic. Similarly, you have so many varieties of logic circuits. You can only use transistors to achieve the same. Then it becomes transistor logic. A good number of ICs that you are going to use belong to this category. Now, I will just try and show you the operation for the AND gate in a similar way. That would be slightly more complicated to follow. So, I would urge you to pay attention. Let me see, where is the circuit? Now, this is the circuit. Now, see here, both the diodes are connected to a 5 volt source. As you can see here, the negatives are connected now to a high voltage, so a voltage source 5 volts. Both the P sides I have combined and I have given it to a battery VCC through a resistor R. All the three batteries A, B and VCC, let us say, are 5 volts. Now what happens? This is a bit strange to understand, so please pay attention. Now, what happens? Let us start with what the battery VCC tries to do. Let us say both A and B are shorted to the ground, which means you remove the battery, connect the wire from the N side of diode D1 and the N side of diode D2 to the ground. Now what happens? There is a battery voltage VCC here. This is the positive. Through the resistor, a current tries to flow through and higher voltage is connected to P side. Lower voltage is connected to N side because N sides are grounded. Therefore, these two diodes, both of them are forward biased. When both are forward biased, they conduct heavily. So what happens? A current flows through the resistor here into the diodes and to the ground. And I am measuring the output here. When I measure the output here, all the voltage would have dropped across the resistor. Here I would get nothing. So when A is 0, B is 0, because voltage is not applied across this, A0, B0, output 0. That is the first entry in the truth table for the AND gate. If you see. Now, let us say battery A is connected, battery B is still grounded. Now what happens is, what VCC does is try to push a current through the resistor and through the diodes to the ground. Now battery A1 is connected with the source 5 volts. So across the N side of D1 there is 5 volts. Across the P side of D1 there is 5 volts. So across diode there is no voltage applied. The diode needs at least 0.7 volts for it to conduct. Here there is no voltage, therefore diode A does not conduct. On the other hand, B is grounded. So one end of B is at 0, that is the N side. P side is at 5 volts, it conducts. Therefore, now a high current flows through the resistor to the ground, to the P side of the diode, to the N side and to the ground. That is circuit completed. Therefore, a high current flowing through R results in a large voltage drop across R. What we are measuring is the remaining voltage. That will be 0. Now, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0 is 0. Similarly, if you make B as high and A as 0, symmetric situation, B will not conduct, but A will conduct. Therefore, voltage across the resistor R will be very high, and the rest of the voltage that we are trying to measure will be 0. Now, if both A and B are connected to source 5 volts, now what happens is, across both the diodes D1 and D2, across the diode, that is to the P side and N side, the same 5 volts are applied. Across the diode, there is no potential difference which can drive a current in any given direction. Therefore, both the diodes do not conduct. When both the diodes do not conduct, if you measure the voltage now, essentially what you are measuring will be voltage from the positive of VCC to the ground, which would give you the battery voltage VCC, which will be high, which is 5 volts. So, when both inputs A and B are present, the output will become high. So, as you can see, therefore, it mimics the truth table of the AND gate. I will show you the AND gate truth table again. A0, B0, output 0. A0, B1, output 0. A1, B0, output 0. Only when both the inputs are high, output will be high. Therefore, the AND gate is an all or none type of a gate, which produces a high output only when all the inputs are high. Here we are taking only 2 inputs. You can say both inputs are high, but in general you will see that even if you increase the number of inputs, the AND gate will produce a high output only when all the inputs are high. Similarly, the OR gate, as you saw, will produce a high output even if one of the inputs is high. Therefore, you can say the OR gate is a either or type of gate. If either A is high or B is high, output produced will be high. It needs only one of the inputs to be high to produce a high output. And as you can see, this is the logical symbol for the AND gate. A and B are 2 inputs. Y is equal to A dot B, read as A and B is the output. Similarly, I can also show you the logical symbol for the OR gate by going back to page number. See here. This is the logical symbol for the OR gate. A, B are the inputs. A or B equals Y is the output. Make sure that looks like a D, the AND gate. Here it does not look like a D. Please recognize the difference in the 2 symbols and learn to draw proper logical symbols. This equation Y is equal to A dot B, read as Y is equal to A and B, and Y is equal to A or B, that is A plus B, read as Y is equal to A or B. You can call it as the logical expression for the given logic gate. So, this is the logic symbol Why is it? This is the logical expression. This is the truth table. This is the implementation of the logic gate using the electronic devices. So we have in this discussion discussed about two devices. Now let us stop at this. We can look at the NOT gate in the next session. Thank you very much. So that will do for today. Thank you very much. We'll end the discussion here.